How wide? How wide is the timber? I demand an inquiry. It's too expensive to stay in hotels. There's too much stuff to pack to go camping. Have you thought about giving campervanning a shot? No? Well, stick with us. We might convert you. If my next guest was in Mastermind, I'd say that everything campervan would be a specialist subject. It's Simon Yearsley, Director of Big Tree Campervans. Good morning, Simon.
Good morning, Fred. Good morning, Karen.
Hello there.
How's Dundee this morning, Simon?
It's all right. It's Dundee.
Did you bring a campervan along?
Do you know, I didn't, because they're all out on hire apart from one which is going out this afternoon.
Congratulations.
So there we go. That's good.
Well, that just proves the popularity of it, doesn't it?
It does.
I spent a day filming a few years ago with a couple of guys that were into campervanning.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
And jolly good fun it was.
I think they're great things.
Where did you go?
I can't remember. It was someplace up the Trossachs.
All right.
And we parked the camper van and we went out and we played a bit of sport. The weather wasn't too clement. We sat indoors for a wee while.
Excellent.
We converted some of the tables and chairs into whatever they converted into.
Sounds good.
Denise in Aberdeen, she's picking up her camper van this afternoon in Perth.
Oh, there we
Enjoy
go.
your time with that, Denise. Yes,
And
indeed.
I'll tell you what I saw on television this morning, Simon. There was a competition on the ITV channel where you could win a camper van, which was worth £51,000.
They're not cheap.
Was that Susie Perry that was advertising it?
They're not cheap, are
Beautiful.
they? But
the van.
They're fantastic things to have.
Yeah.
They're fantastic things to have, yeah.
It could sleep four.
Sounds good.
Yep. And they look very comfortable.
It's like one on top of each other.
Aye. And flushing toilets.
Ooh, quite posh.
You get fancy now.
Can you even, without attaching yourself to some equipment at a camper van site, can you carry enough water for a shower?
Yeah, I mean, depends what type of camper van you're talking about, really. I mean, there's there's what I call the big wobbly vans, the big motorhomes,
The big RVs.
yeah, big kind of RV things. At the other end of the scale, there's the ones that are probably actually a bit better suited to Scotland. So the small, V-dub size camper vans. You probably struggle to get a toilet and a shower and a jacuzzi in one of those, but you can still.
That, really, would you?
You can still no, absolutely.
But
you can.
Space.
They're still more suited really to Scotland.
What was the VW camper vans that had a kind of concertina roof?
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of different makes and models, Fred. I mean, they either, a good camper van has some sort of elevating roof.
Aye.
So you've got some headspace. Otherwise, you've got a crooked back by the time you've been around for a week or so. So either the concertina up or the hinge at one end, but the idea is, you've got something that can be a car and can be a really, really posh tent as well. So you've got something that can convert easily to give you headroom. Beds come down at night, and you can usually sleep either 2 or 4 people in them. And they are. I often say to a lot of our customers, they are really good fun, and it's amazing how many people come back from trips around, our own country in Scotland, just having had that real flexibility and freedom to potter where they want to. Often with kids or couples by themselves, come back with big smiles on their faces.
It is on you go.
No, I was just going to say, well, my brother-in-law bought one, I would say about 5 years ago now. Off he goes fishing for the weekend, and he makes bread when he's away.
In the camper van?
Yes,
Fantastic.
I'm very proud of it too.
Fantastic.
Yes. Hi, it's great.
That's pretty good. I guess he's got an oven in there then, and
Aye, because I don't think it's a bread maker.
And if you're moving from one place to the next, Simon, I mean, and you've slept in it, and there's maybe been a couple of you in the camper van, do you give it an airing in the morning before you set off?
It's often good to do that, yeah. But wind the windows down, turn the music up, away you go.
And how many places are there around Scotland, for example, where you could go and park overnight?
Well, I mean, firstly, in Scotland, there's a fantastic network of really well-equipped campsites. And we probably find 50-60% of our people just want to go and stay on campsites. And I think Scotland is blessed with, a whole range of really good places to go and stay. But the other part with the camper van is this idea of wild camping. And I think that's where we need to be careful, because certainly one of the things that we do and other reputable campervan companies do is give people guidance on where they can and can't wild camp with their campervans. Most of it's common sense, but occasionally you do have people parking in stupid places or blocking field gates and things like that. And people often confuse the Scottish Outdoor Access Code, which is all about freedom of the individual to go where they want.
They can go anywhere.
Absolutely, but you're actually with a camper van, you're in a motor vehicle, so the Outdoor Access Code doesn't apply. So we spend a lot of time with our customers, just chatting to them about where they want to go, maybe advising on a few good wild camping spots. We never produce lists, but to answer the question, most of it's really self-explanatory and common sense, really. Not parking around field gates, not destroying, beautiful MacAulay, by the side of the sea. Remembering you're actually in charge of a motor vehicle, so you've got to park it safely. There's some communities around Scotland, like Calgary Bay on Mull, Tiree, where what they've done as communities is introduced their own kind of local rules around where you can and can't park with a camper van. So on Tiree, for example, they charge, I think, a £10 fee to bring your van onto the island, and there is a designated number of places that you can use, and you can't wild camp anywhere else.
Right. Is that because you get a lot of windsurfers?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
Sailboarders,
4 or 5 years ago, Tiree was not getting overrun, but there were more people there than it could deal with, and I think that approach is eminently sensible. It supports the local industry, it supports the local tourism industry, it makes it a pleasant, more of a pleasant place to go for everybody.
Is there a camper van body that has a kind of code of conduct for camper vanners?
There is. I mean, about a couple of years ago, ourselves and 2 other camper van rental companies, we formed a professional organisation called Campervan and Motorhome Professional Association. Snappy title, I think. But it kind of does what it says. It's a growing body that's just trying to produce best practice around the safety of vehicles.
Have you got a publication, Simon?
We've got a website, camper.org.uk.
Because I think that's bound to appear in Have I Got News for You one of these weeks.
It should do. It should do, but hopefully in a positive way.
Listen, do you think... Oh, sorry. No, beg your pardon.
Go on.
I was just going to ask about the toilets. Do you think even if you've got a toilet in it, you would still avoid using it?
It's funny you should say that, Karen. In our vans, they're not big enough to have a separate flushing toilet, and we use porta potties. Customers can choose to hire out this little porta potty. It's a lovely name. And we find probably about 70% of people who actually want to hire a porta potty bring it back unused.
I was going to say, because you have to find somewhere to dump it,
well,
don't you?
I know. Well, and that's important again. And there's all sorts of really important things there about providing guidance on that. But actually we find most people, if you're travelling around Scotland, it's big enough to have a fantastic holiday in a camper van, but it's small enough to be, near a good pub, near a good shop, near a cafe.
Imagine getting a pub with your porta potty.
Well, no, but to use the pub use the facilities rather than the porta potty.
Can I have a half a shandy, and can you point me in the right direction for this? Slopping out.
Rather you than me, Fred. I think Simon, I know the view you get.
It is something that people do look at with kind of tongue in cheek, but a lot of pleasure to the people that use them. So many thanks for joining us this morning. That's Simon Yearsley, Director of Big Tree Camper Vans. And if you want to know more about where you can and can't park up, camper.org.uk. Let's hear more about...
To be or not to